big announcement today, everybody, so let's skip the formalities and jump right in. Just a few minutes ago on the official Twitter page for Netflix The Witcher, they posted this message. It's official. The Witcher is returning for Season 4, and Henry Cavill will be handing his swords to Liam Hemsworth as the new Geralt of Rivia after Season 3. Welcome to the Witcher family, Liam Hemsworth. No official reason has been given for the change. However, shortly after this was posted, Henry Cavill did release an amicable statement talking about how much he appreciated his time in the role, etc. If you wish to read Mr. Cavill's actual Instagram post, I have it on screen now. Please feel free to hit pause and resume the video when you are finished. So, of course, all of this begs the question, why? Before I get too deep into speculation, I'd like to ask if you enjoy all the latest fantasy news from a common sense, not extreme perspective, please consider hitting that subscribe button and growing the channel. As far as speculation goes, I'm usually on board with the most obvious answer is likely the correct one. The obvious answer in this case is that Mr. Cavill would rather do movies than television. Movies being a better gig than television has been a thing in Hollywood for decades. In very oversimplified terms, for an entire season of Witcher, Mr. Cavill makes about $8 million, and filming may take several months, as opposed to a leading role in a Superman movie where his salary would be almost certainly more than $20 million, and his portion of the filming may take just a handful of weeks. Because of the massive budgets and shorter time frames, movies also tend to have better amenities like accommodations and food. All that being said, there are some counterpoints to this argument as well. First, this was a passion project for Mr. Cavill, and in such projects, money is usually not the motivating factor. To that point, he took a minuscule salary for Season 1, and fans are well acquainted with his love of fantasy gaming, fantasy literature, and just fantasy culture in general. Keeping with that line of thinking, it's impossible to ignore that just a few days ago, public accusations were made against the writing staff of The Witcher for not only disliking the source material, but actively mocking it. Think about this from Mr. Cavill's perspective. You're spending long hours trying to develop something you have a great deal of passion for. You're surrounded by people who are blessed, even privileged, to be in a position where they can use their creative talents to bring that story to life. Instead of showing the expected level of humility and gratitude, they instead decide to openly mock something you love. It's not hard to imagine this creating an intolerable work environment. In fact, former Netflix writer Beau DeMayo, who was the one who made the public allegations against some of the writers for The Witcher, specifically referenced the impact this type of thing can have in the workplace. I quote, "It's a recipe for disaster and bad morale. Fandom, as a litmus test, checks egos and makes all the long nights worth it. In other words, working with people who hate the material they're adapting is miserable. Contrarily, working with others who are also fans helps one another's passion feed each other and make the long nights worth it." Beyond the drama in the writer's room, we also have to take into account Henry Cavill's own words. When asked, Mr. Cavill publicly stated that, given the option, he would prefer to do both The Witcher and Superman. In fact, while still being with the Witcher series, he has had several movie side projects both with and outside of Netflix, including a cameo of Superman himself. If nothing else, this certainly shows the logistical viability of this option. I also wanted to spend a few moments talking about some of the less tangible things that may be in play here. Based on what I saw in some of the discussion threads, Twitters, etc., I'm going to be a bit presumptuous here and presume to speak for a large number of fans. For many of us, Season 2 was somewhat of a disappointment. Season 1 was good, not great, but with the groundwork laid, we expected Season 2 to stand on its shoulders and be something special. I feel comfortable in saying that for many of us, it never achieved that expectation. I'm not saying I disliked Season 2, just that it significantly underdelivered. In addition to this disappointment, or perhaps more accurately, a central aspect of it, was it felt as if the character of Geralt was being de-emphasized. A common recurring complaint was that a show called The Witcher should be about The Witcher. Let's not forget that Season 3 finished filming just over a month ago. So if the quality is continuing to decline, or Geralt as a character is pushed farther to the margins, then Cavill would certainly be aware of that situation. Netflix certainly has serious financial issues, and they don't have the budget to pump into the show like, say, House of the Dragon or Rings of Power. Regardless of how you feel about all of the other issues, the objective facts are simple. Budget-wise, this show is more comparable to B-level entertainment like Wheel of Time than it is to any of the AAA franchises. For perspective, The Witcher gets considerably less than what Disney Plus gives She-Hulk, and The Witcher is supposed to be Netflix's premier franchise. It's certainly feasible that Mr. Cavill felt discouraged or disenfranchised that the money wasn't there to deliver the quality that he desired, perhaps thinking it's time to get out now while the getting's good, not wanting his name attached to something of B-level entertainment. So, in the end, was it that he just wanted to be a movie star? Was it that he couldn't stand working with people who disrespected the source material? Or maybe a shrinking character on a show of diminishing quality? Or perhaps a combination of all of the above? Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you liked this video, please consider hitting that like button, and I will see you next time.